Hello and welcome to Then and Now. My name is Zach McLaughlin and today we are joined with John Dixon, a former Belfast Met film and TV school graduate.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
On today's show, we will be discussing John's time at the Met and what he's been up to since. Welcome, John. Thank you for coming to the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So from your show, we can see you have a talent for cinematography. Is that something you came naturally to you, or did it evolve over time?
No, I guess it developed over a lot of time. I always found myself to be wanting to get into the creative industry. I used to be really passionate about music. Spent like most of my childhood learning how to play the piano and the guitar and the drums. Brought that up to GCSE, where I studied music at GCSE. But then after doing my GCSEs, I kind of felt like I wanted to kind of disperse in a different area of the creative industry. So then I found the interest for film. I done my A-level moving image, which was the main thing that sort of developed my interest and got me really into that kind of industry. So I felt like I just wanted to further develop my my interest for film and bring it on further. Yeah.
So what made you choose the course at the Met then?
Well, I was doing my A-levels in moving image, which I'd done pretty well in. So I knew that I wanted to go on and either get like a degree or even a HND in moving image. So after doing like a lot of research, I applied for a few unis in England and got offers for all of them. But then with like certain circumstances going on at home and stuff, I found myself just wanting to stay more local at home. So the most local university I could have done or went to, the study moving image would have been Coleraine, which is like about like an hour and a half drive away, which would be pretty frustrating going to and from every day. But so I'd done a bit more research and found that Belfast Met offered a HND level 5 in moving image. Looked into it, talked to a few people who were actually in the course before, and I've heard that they had like great facilities, like the lectures and all were really good, and like it's just a lot less independent. Whereas like in uni, you would be sort of thrown in at the deep end and expected to just complete a lot of assignments just on your own. So I feel like that's what I needed, is a bit of an extra push. So I decided to go to tech instead of university, which was probably a great decision.
100%. And so during your time at the Met, like what would you say would be your proudest piece of work?
I'd say most likely my car culture documentary. I was the director for it. It was not only my proudest, but probably the most fun thing I've ever made to this date. I put a lot of effort into it, and then the team I had around me were amazing. Like we all had the same interests and knew that we wanted to make this documentary incredible. I was able to get like a few friends outside of the course who were able to direct me and getting like good shots and good ideas. One of the best, I think it's probably my most proudest because of one shot in particular, which is sort of influenced from the film Baby Driver. It's a shot of a guy diffing in a car, which is just doing donuts, but the gimbal is out the window looking onto the rear tire, and you can see the guy pulling his handbrake with the wheel just going completely static, but the car's still moving, so it's fairly satisfying to watch. Still haven't beat it.
Yeah, what a shot it is.
Well, John, now for our game show segment. For this game, you will guess the movie from a short synopsis. You will only have 1 minute to answer. So, you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. Right. First things first. Once upon a time in a faraway swamp, there lived an ogre.
Shrek.
Let's see. The culmination of nearly 10 years' work, the conclusion to the epic trilogy, The Return of the King, presents the final
Lord of the
confrontation between...
Rings.
Yeah. This coming-of-age film follows the mayhem of a group of rowdy teenagers in Austin, Texas, celebrating the last day of high
Dazed
school.
and confused.
In New York City, 1987, a handsome
Rear Window.
a handsome urban professional lives a second life as a gruesome serial killer by night.
Oh, American Psycho.
The implausible escape of a brilliant murder is brought to the U.S. Marshal. Teddy Daniels and his new partner to Ashcliff Hospital, a fortress-like insecure asylum.
Oh, Shutter Island.
Perfect. The story of the recuperating news photographer who believes in his witness.
Rear Window.
Yeah, there you go. Well, John, you answered all questions right in only 54 seconds.
Easy
Well
peasy.
done. So, John, what are you working on now? Like, what is your drive at the moment?
Well, practically, I am actually working on getting a production company up and running. We have just got a location sorted for us, which we'll be able to use to bring our equipment in and work from. So we have actually managed to get that for free with someone signing over the building to us. So we'll be working out of that to sort of have more people throwing work at us.
What's the production company called?
It's called Urban Arts Centre, so it's actually registered as a charity, meaning we can get funding. So what we would do is we would work with the likes of kids that would have autism, or people who are like in out of prison, who are finding it hard to get a job. Just basically people who can't really get their foot into the industry. So we can actually apply for funding for like producing any like feature films or any workshops or anything. For example, my cousin, she owns her own theatre company over in Newcastle, so she's actually thinking of bringing her theatre company over to us and working in and out of our production company, which would mean we'll be able to do workshops in schools and in hospitals and stuff, and even just try and give people like a more of a creative input into this kind of industry.
Man, that's great. And so, going up, you know, obviously being educated in the Belfast Met. Did you feel like, you know, all the ideas you had, did you feel like Belfast Met facilitated that? Like, did it provide you the equipment?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like any project we wanted to do, all the equipment was there for us. Like having it at an industry standard was easy because of what we were taught and the accessibility, the equipment. Like there was even the Blackmagic cameras we were able to use for fiction documentary at the end of the term. As well as just even like DSLRs and them, and like even us being able to just go and rent them out and then bring them back a few days later, like just give us a chance to work with them outside of the tech, as well as like develop our own sort of knowledge on the equipment too. So everything was there that we needed, especially like the equipment wise of it.
And Steve let you have it, okay?
Yeah.
So John, as someone who's been working in the industry like locally, like how would you say, is it growing? Like what can we see for the future for Northern Ireland?
Well, personally in the industry I work in, I find that like there's kind of a limitless amount of jobs available. I have also talked to a lot of other professional videographers who would do like likes of seasonal work and stuff in Ibiza, but I find that a lot of them have actually moved to the likes of Brighton or Manchester, places over in England, just to try and get a bit more work, because they find that over here it's usually a set like 2 or 3 production companies that basically like oversee everything. So it's the big production companies that kind of make it difficult for people who are kind of getting into the industry to start off. But I feel like if you are one of those people in a big industry and are a big production company, then like Belfast is your oyster pretty much. Like you've got a lot of accessibility to work, because there's so many big corporations coming over here, and especially like with the boom of like social media videos and stuff, like there's always people looking for promotional videos, like whether it's like a nightclub or whether it's like a barber's or hairdressers, or whether it's even just something like a local event that like a community's throwing. Like there's always people looking for videos. But the way I always look at it is like I find that people would look for them more in the sense that they have it, they remember it forever, rather than like mentally remembering it. Which is sort of what I like about it. So I find that that's the more businesses grow, I feel like the more that the actual like industry for videographers, it's like a higher demand, but at the same time it can be pretty oversaturated in some kind of departments.
Everyone wants to be a film.
Everyone wants to be rich and famous.
So like, where would you want, like, you know, obviously growing up in Northern Ireland, you know, like everyone wants to leave, you know, like everyone's just like, I want to leave. So where would be like the ideal place, if it is Northern Ireland, happy days, but where would be the ideal place you would love to move and set up shop?
Well, there's 2 places I would love to go to. First place would be Holland. They've got like their sort of film facilities, despite being Dutch, are still incredible. As well as Vancouver in Canada. That would be another like main place I'd love to go to. I've got some family that live over there. I've also got family who work in like the film industry over there too. But I would love to go over there to work as like my own kind of boss, rather than having to work for a big corporation. But it's just whether I would have the courage in the future to take that risk to leave everything behind here and go and start fresh somewhere else.
Completely new, blank slate.
Especially like having the contacts and everything you have like over here. It's sort of scary
because it's so local.
Because it's like you know everybody. Like I go out and you just like people come up to me and you're like, oh, you're the one who filmed this.
And I'm like,
Facebook. So like I find that just sort of dropping everything and essentially going to start fresh is a bit of a risk, but it's something I'd be like willing to do in the future.
100%. So like, very like we've talked about the distant future with your production company and moving away. Like, what is the what's next? Like, the immediate next, you know?
Well, I'm still sort of just trying to make like what I can when I can. I gotta get a lot of big jobs through like likes of the council, as well as like most nightclub promoters in town. I am currently getting a office space in the workshop for DSNT, as they want to train me on like Cinema 4D and train me on more like visual effects. So that's the good thing about working with like record labels and them kind of industries, is because they want you to expand your knowledge on what you know. Like the guy Oshin, who I work for, he like helps me like with videography and tells me what ways he edit and stuff. But at the same time, he's also got me to do visuals for him at gigs. So for example, there we were at Box Off Festival down in Dublin, and he left me to do the visuals for like the main stage at it for like over an hour, which was quite a nerve-wracking experience. But yeah, getting trained up on that. But the good thing is it sort of works hand in hand, like visuals with like creative editing, which is what I want to do, is just make big, mad, flashy videos. So.
Especially in music videos, you know, you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, exactly. I've also been working with DJ Mark Blair, who produces like a lot of his own music, who's been fairly popular. I'm doing his music videos, as well as some of the DJs under the DSNT record label, such as like Myler and like Danny D and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to go and be responsible for producing these like kind of big local DJs music videos.
Is it intimidating? Like, do you ever find yourself being like, flip, I am doing this, and like, I'm just like, because you know, we grew up and we're just like, oh, I want to be that guy, you know, growing up, but like, you're actually getting to that stage where you are that person.
Yeah,
like,
it's
do
weird.
You find that a bit
I don't
surreal?
know, because like, I sort of came out of tech and was talking to my friend who works professionally as a videographer, and was sort of like, what should I do here to get myself into the industry? She was like, oh yeah, get this camera and just like talk to people, which I did. And that was about 10 months ago, and now I don't have a minute to myself. Like, I literally just get work thrown at me 24/7. Like, it's at the point now where I'm actually having to turn down like 90% of the jobs because I'm so busy. Like, it's a blessing as much as it is a curse. Like, I spend 99% of my life sitting at my computer desk just editing away. You just see my posture just going worse and worse and worse and just downgrading. But like, I don't know, it's great, like seeing so much support and everything, and just having it all sort of fall into place. Like, it's I wasn't really expecting it to happen so soon, so I'm like really grateful for the opportunities and stuff I've been getting. So it's like only up from here, I guess.
And final, like, you know, would you recommend this to a viewer? You know, would you recommend like, this is an industry that is growing, this is an industry that is amazing and it's fulfilling? You know,
definitely, like people who feel like they want to have their own creative freedom, I would definitely push them to go and do that. Even the likes of like artists and musicians and stuff, it's the same kind of concept. But like, I just find that you're kind of your own boss working in them kind of hours, but at the same time you are working for clients. But like, for example, like all my nightclub shoots, it's just completely laid back. I'll go out at about 12 o'clock, have a few beers, film some stuff, meet famous DJs, go home and edit a video and get paid for it. So you're basically getting paid to have a better night than you would going out to drink, because you get to like get access all areas and you get paid, so.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have now. John, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's very appreciated. And join us next time on Then and Now. Good night.